Let's transition now to the most dropped players, and it might be a little bit of a surprise to see Trey Sermon. We know why Juju Smith-Schuster is the number one guy. He's out for the season with a shoulder injury, but Trey Sermon, we had a lot of high expectations for, maybe as the best 49ers running back this season. Raheem Mostert gets lost for the year in week 1, but Sermon not the one that took over. It was Elijah Mitchell, and then Mitchell missed a couple games, and now Sermon back to the bench, only one carry last week for the 49ers in their loss. And so, Adam, when you look at Trey Sermon, if you see him on waivers, maybe more so next week than this week, would you have interest in picking him back up, knowing that Mitchell's healthy and Jeff Wilson's looming?
Jeff Wilson is not exactly looming, though. They were talking about late November for Jeff Wilson, and that just tells me he may not come back at all. Who knows? So he's not really a big factor for me. JaMychal Hasty could be a factor because Hasty, when he comes off IR, whenever that might be, he was working ahead of Sermon before his injury. I'm not eager to pick up Sermon, but he is only one injury currently away, and we know that this team gets injured all the time, and Mitchell's already been hurt. Sermon's only one injury currently away from being a starting running back, getting a ton of touches, so he's a decent handcuff in that respect, but if Mitchell's healthy, Sermon is useless, so I don't think he's a must-add.
Man, I am not quite ready to go as far as if Mitchell's healthy, Sermon's useless, but that's exactly the way the 49ers have behaved the 3 games they've had both of them available. So I understand why Sermon was dropped. I do think after his bye week, I'll probably be looking to pick him up in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it can't hurt, and we don't know what other injuries are going to occur, so you might want to have, if you have an open roster spot, not a bad idea to stash him. And you can make the same thing, make the same case for Trey Lance, just knowing that he did run the ball a little bit last week. He should have had a rushing touchdown. So we'll see how things go for the 49ers quarterback situation, because Jimmy Garoppolo clearly not the picture of health as well, dealing with that calf injury. Let's show you the second list of drop players here. And again, we said this on the Tuesday show about dropping Kenny Gallaudet more so in 10-team leagues than 12-team leagues. I'm surprised people are dropping Dallas Goddard. I know he's on the reserve COVID-19 list, but if he plays, and certainly moving forward, you got to have some semblance of hope that he could be a top 10 caliber fantasy tight end. And then there's Kenneth Gainwell as well. So Adam, Miles Sanders did have a productive workload last week, played over 70% of the snaps for the Eagles in their victory against the Panthers. Gainwell saw his role reduced, but it feels like this game Thursday night could be a lot about Kenneth Gainwell with his role in the passing game.
You might think that, but he has 6 catches in one game against the Chiefs and 8 catches in the other 4 games. Now, the Chiefs game might be the one that most closely resembles this Bucs game, but Miles Sanders and Gainwell have been pretty even in terms of their receiving statistics. I don't know who would get that work. I have no confidence in starting Kenneth Gainwell. It really is a shot in the dark. It's like starting Nyheim Hines or J.D. McKissick on a given week. If there was maybe some sentiment that Gainwell could overtake Miles Sanders, I think there's almost no chance that happens without an injury. So I guess I'm a low guy on Kenneth Gainwell. He's 73% rostered still, and I think that could afford to be a little bit lower. I don't know when I would have confidence in starting Kenneth Gainwell, even with bye weeks coming.
I get it. I guess just looking at Miles Sanders, had 5 catches last week for 6 yards. He's not doing anything with the ball in his hands right now at this point. So you might see something going more in Kenneth Gainwell's direction. Like you said, this game could be a little bit more of a track meet, so we'll see if that benefits Gainwell. Nobody should be starting either of these guys, but Sanders still the better of the two, at least for now. Heath, which name surprised you the most of being dropped on this list? Gallaudet, Goddard, Latavius Murray, Jamison Crowder, or Robbie Anderson? Wow. I guess Brandon Ayuk as well.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the name that would surprise me the most would probably be Gallaudet, just because we have seen him as a high-end number 2 wide receiver in the past, and I don't think this is a long-term injury for him. I think he probably misses a week or 2. Now, he hasn't been off to a very good start, but I still would expect at some point this season he's going to have a stretch as a productive number 3 wide receiver.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. Again, just tying in all the Giants' injury news from today. Kadarius Toney practiced, dealing with that ankle injury. Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton returned to practice. They were out the last 2 weeks with the hamstring problem, and Kenny Gallaudet did not practice along with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. Gallaudet is expected to miss Week 6 as the Giants take on the Rams.